for us.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You know the voice, Dr. LL. You know the show, Small Business Stories, but you may not know my guest. But that said, she is someone you probably need to know. Olga Mischenko has her business, Photography by Olga Mischenko, right? Yes, a little creative in the title there. That's okay. Eponymous names go really well. And what we're going to get into today is the importance of good photography and small businesses that are in and around photography. How do we use our time to ourselves and find ways to be able to bring that work-life balance with a skill and a passion that we have? Olga, welcome to the show.
Hi, Loralyn. Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast. I'm very excited. It's my first time. So I hope I can help our listeners to get something new and useful from this episode. Um, so uh, I am a photographer. I'm specializing in the headshots, in fine art portraits, and branding photo shoot. And the importance of your look and your imagery is very important nowadays, especially with the fact that all our lives is online. So your first impression is really matter. You have to be, uh, you know, through the image, you have to show the message. Your image should represent your story behind your business.
And so let's get into all of this. But before we do, one of the things I like to say and have our guests do is that for those that have the auditory experience only, they're listening to iHeartRadio or Apple, Spotify, wherever they're getting the podcast experience, and they're getting that full video image because, believe it or not, 30% of us are listening to our podcasts through radio frequency and satellite radios. So we're not getting the visual, and that's a good thing because we need to focus on driving. So describe to our listeners what your background is, who you are. Just give us a little sense for the flavor. Who is Olga? What does she look like? What does she stand for? Give us a little bit of that context.
All right. So I'm originally from Ukraine, and I got into photography 10 years ago, but I have love for photography since I was little girl. I saw my dad doing film photography, and when he was doing this image reveal in the dark room, when you put empty paper in the tray with chemicals, and then you see that they come to life, that was magic to me. So I was very inspired by that. But of course, the life took a different turn, and I didn't pursue photography until later. But I did get my first point and shoot film camera when I was 12, and since then I was taking photos all the time. So like I have plenty of prints at home back in Ukraine, and actually I got a master degree in economics, and that helps a lot to run my business now. But I also was a music teacher at the kids orchestra back in Ukraine. But when I moved to United States, of course, that was like a different life. That was all left behind. And here I started from scratch, and I completely took a different path. I worked at the restaurant business for some times, and that's how I learned my um, customer service and all that, like, how to speak with clients. And then I decided to turn back to my hobby, which was photography. And I got more into that like 10 years ago. And I was traveling a lot, and I bought so many photo equipment. Usually, people get first, they write a business plan, and then they say, okay, I'm gonna go buy this and that, and this is all my business expenses. For me, it was different because I bought all the equipment before I even started business, and I was traveling and taking photos. And then I decided that I want to add images with people to my experience, and I started taking photos of my friends. And when I saw that they loved the result, that made me very happy. And I was like, okay, that's what I want to do because that brings me joy and excitement. And I thought that after the results that people see, after they see their photos, their life changes, and that's make me really happy because I help them change their lives. So then I started to learn more, learn psychology, photography psychology, study the lighting, and grow more and more into the headshot, into branding, into fine art. All of this is different niches, but they are all kind of connected. And now when I see my clients happy and when I see that they walk away from the session totally different person, like they are inspired, they see themselves different, that makes me happy, and that to me is a success. And that's my goal, to make them happy.
Right. So let's break that down because you said, oh, 100 different things. And so it's okay. It's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to break it down because there's some really important pieces in this. One, first, let's talk about resilience. You left your native land, you came to the United States, a foreign place, and you said you started with nothing. You had to work in food and hospitality business, but you took it as an opportunity, not just for money, but learning how to build your customer service experience. So talk about the importance of customer service today and how that can make you stand out as part of your brand.
So the many years working in the restaurant business helped me really listen to what my clients need and want. And that what makes me probably stand out. And I feel very um, empathical, I feel what they need. It's kind of on a deeper level, like I can look at the person and I kind of feel what they are looking for, but I'm asking them right questions so they will tell me what they need. And then I will be like, okay, I'm right about this and that, because sometimes a client can come in and they say, oh, I need this cool shot, but what they really want, they want to be seen and they want to uh, show what inside them right now going on. Maybe they're going through divorce or a breakup, or maybe they are very happy and they want to show how their happiness. So asking the right question and listening, that is what is very important in this business.
Exactly. But it's also important to get out there because invisible brands don't make money. That's my tagline. I say that everywhere. And that's how we met. We met in New York at the Small Business Expo. And I think it's all about getting out there, even if you're uncomfortable. Talk to us about what drew you to the Small Business Expo, why you went out there, because it's a madhouse. It's in New York. There's, I think, 40, 50,000 attendees, and it's just 6 hours of I don't know, intense crowd gathering, networking, speed networking, booth exhibition, like all of this sort of stuff, all in a very condensed time frame in what feels like a small space, even though it's Javits Center and it's very, very large. It feels small because there's so many of us in there. Talk to us about what drew you. Why did you have to feel like you have to go to that event? And how did you navigate the event to be out there and be seen? Talk to us about that.
So I I don't know. I got an invitation to go there. And since I know that the networking is very important because the Instagram is very good and like TikTok and all that, it's a good thing. But it's very good when you see people in person. So they see you, they kind of get your vibe if you meet them in person. So that's why I went there. And I also go to different networking group when I have chance, because the more you put yourself out there, the more you talk to people, they see how you behave, how you act, the way you carry yourself, and what is your, in small talks they can see what is your values. So then that's what can bring them back to you. And also when you meet somebody, you can meet a person who can be a really good, like a stepping stone to your next chapter in life. So that is very important. So I went there. It was my first time. That was that was so many people. I was like, oh my God. But and of course, I was nervous like everybody. And probably, like, since it was my first time, I didn't know what to do, where to go. And I saw this long, long table with business cards. It was just like they all look very the same, like very similar. Some of them stood out. And then I saw some people wearing some like flary dresses, and yeah, so that stood out too. So I'm like, okay, next time maybe I should wear feathers or something, because if you're wearing something blank, people will not notice you. But if you wear something interesting, they might look at you and be like, huh, what does she do? Let me ask her. It's bringing attention. So the important part is attention first, because no one knows there. Like, it's like you said, it's like thousands of people there, and you have to stand out to attract at least like a person to have us to start a conversation. So what I did, I placed my business cards on the table and hope that someone will notice and take it. So some people did, and you also took my card from there. And the speed networking, that was also very fun experience, because it's like speed dating. You go, you say, hi, my name is Olga, and the person says, my name is blah blah blah, what do you do? I do this, so here's my Instagram or business card, okay, goodbye. And you go around the room and you introduce yourself, and that was like, I came back home so tired from that, because there was also the lectures that I attended, not only speed networking. So that was a fun day. Day. Yeah, so that was really nice. And I got a lot of connection from that event, actually.
Very good. I mean, I think that that's really what it's about, that it's too easy to just stay home and say, I'm going to send some emails. If I do,
Yes.
when you think about it, how much time are we as entrepreneurs spending doing outreach and trying to get sales? We get so caught up in the minutia of the day to day that we're working right in our businesses instead of on our businesses. Is that something that you see with you and your clients? Is that a fair statement?
100%. Because when I got into photography, I was like, oh my God, is this so easy? What I all need to do is just take a good photo, edit them and give it to the client. And I thought that's all I need to do. It's not. This is only 20%. The other 80, you have to do networking. You have to know how to do marketing, advertisement. Then you have to know how to sell yourself. It's the hardest part is the marketing and sales, because no one likes to be, no one wants to do sales, especially artists. We all want to create. We want to be so special and be like, oh my God, I just want to create something nice. And we all forget that we actually have to sell. Yeah, and no one tells you when you get into the business that that is the most important part, is to sell yourself.
Oh, cheers to that. It needs to be said. I mentor a lot of folks, a lot of rising entrepreneurs at all ages. They're not just young and fresh out of college or fresh out of high school. There's a lot of folks that are my age and even older in some cases that I'm mentoring, and a lot of folks, of course, that are younger, right? Just where I am on that continuum of life and how many laps I've taken around the sun. But that said, a lot of people have been sold what I say is a bill of goods. And they've been told, yeah, yeah, bros and Lambos, just put your website out there, woo, 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 and the leads will keep coming. And then you can go and you can create and you can do this and you can do that. But wait a minute, you've got to keep paying for social media, even though you really don't like it. You've got to make sure your website is fully tweaked. SEO? Oh, you don't have the backlinks in there? You better do that. Your Google My Business? You don't have a page? Wow. You're not asking your customers for reviews? And you don't think about all these things. And then you get caught up in doing all of that. You're like, wait a minute. You need to be out there at this event and that event and saying, hey, I take photos. I'm photography by Olga Mischenko. Look at the beautiful work I do. And you just got to push, push. And it can be exhausting.
Yeah, that's true. It can be because on top of that, you also have a regular life, like you have a family, you have a normal things to do, like take care of your house. If you have kids, spend time with your family. And it's like not easy to balance all that, the life and the career is it's kind of like a juggle. Plus, on top of that, you need to create. So it's like it's like it is fun ride, I would call it.
It is. I think that that's why they call entrepreneurship the grind, because you've got to grind through it every day. And then for me, the only way that it works is that if I drop something on that given day. Now, you can't keep that thing dropped at some point.
Yeah.
For example, oh, I need to do the dishes in the sink. You can't leave those. Maybe you don't do them for those few hours or that day, and then you got to be on it. Or, oh, I've ignored my husband for a day or two. Probably should get on that. Or my poor dog. Okay, I walk her, but then if I've ignored her for the day, that's not good for her health. Or, oh, I've ignored my mental health and my peace and my, no, I better not do that for a day. But I only have, like everybody else, so many hands, so I can only juggle so many balls, but then one's going to drop. I have to pick it back up at some point.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Like they say, you can only do three things at once, and you have to choose them. Like in a day, you can only do three things. So if you care about dishes, maybe today you don't care about them. Today you close the eyes, whatever, you do them tomorrow. Or you have like dirty floor, also close the eyes, do what you need to do first, and then you do it later. So yeah, it is a juggle. That's true.
Yeah, and people
And
don't talk about that because the perception is, especially in photography, in image and everything, we have our online appearance. It's so carefully crafted and curated. We use our filters, this, that. I got rid of all that. This is me, wrinkles, bags under my eyes. This is who I am. Decent lighting, not fabulous lighting. That's it. This is me. I
mhm.
can't be bothered with all the rest of that and all of that sort of stuff. This is how it is. This is the real story of entrepreneurship. So what do you say to that as someone who helps people create a curated brand? What's your advice to me, Loralyn, about my approach I'm taking about just kind of being who I am and raw and unfiltered?
Well, actually, it is the best because everybody have their own stages in the business and in life. Like with the phones, of course, nowadays it is so easy. Everybody can take a selfie. And in a selfie, if you know how to take a good one, you can look much, much better because you will stand closer to the window, the light will be good, then you put like tons of filters, especially from Instagram, you add some lashes, blush, the lipstick, and like maybe some other filters. So you look like totally different person. And it is very hard for a lot of, especially young girls, I see that they don't accept themselves. For more like um, after like 35, they start accepting them more and be more like true to themselves. So what I recommend always to stick to who you are, because online, especially if you sell into people that you later have to meet them, and you, let's say, create some one look online and you put all those filters, and then you go out and meet them in person and they just see, wait, this person online looks like a model, and in reality it looks like a real normal person, and just like they can put it together, 1 plus 1, and they like, okay, we thought she's this and she's not. So I always recommend um, to have the as minimal as possible editing. Of course, like if you have wrinkles, maybe like just like fluff them a little bit, but not make you 20 years younger, because that is not real story. And you want to tell your story. You don't want to look like somebody else. You want to be you, Loralyn, at your age, because every age is beautiful, at your stage, because you went all through these experiences, through the life, and you have this knowledge, because the 20 years old doesn't have all your knowledge, and you don't want to look like somebody else, because you are one unique, only one Loralyn out there. So I recommend to have as minimal as possible, adjustments, and be
Ah,
as natural as possible.
well said, well said. Because to your point, there was this woman that I followed, podcast, very famous on the radio show and everything, and I finally got a chance at a meeting. It was some big conference that she was one of the special guests, and I got a chance to meet with her backstage and privately before she went on stage. And I did that, and I was like, "Oh, where is she? Where is she?" Standing 2 feet away from me, but I didn't recognize her because I was so used to all the headshots and the glamour. I did not recognize her. I thought she was about my age. She must be about 20, 30 years older, but she was using photos from 40 years ago. And it was crazy. And it just completely disconnected me from her and her brand, because that was what she talks about all the time: being authentic, connecting with the people around you, building those long lasting, unbreakable relationships and bonds. And I'm thinking,
Mhm.
you're phony, right?
Exactly. Yes, yes. Because people usually, they look at your image, they look at your stories on Instagram and Reels, and they connect through the personal experience. They see what you care about, and they, either like you or they don't like you. Not everybody gonna like you, obviously, but and we don't need that also. But that way you have uh, you filtering out the people that are not your people, and you keep the one who will be in your team. So, and the more you speak truth, whatever you care about, the more you will attract the people who will support you and help you grow.
Oh, bingo, bingo. That's just it. But along the way, you've got to keep building these technical skills. So you talked about a lot of things that are important to your business. You talked about your master's in economics, which helps you with the finances. You talked about obviously learning all of the tools of the trade and really learning how to get the most out of your point click film camera and all of your equipment and lighting. But one of the things that you said really, sparked my ears. You said that you studied the application and the psychology of photography. What's all that about?
Yeah, well, I didn't like study I didn't went to school to that, but I listened to a lot of podcast, read a lot of books about psychology, and I just like psychology, and it's just all about it's just different type of people, and we all need to be heard, and we all like when someone else listens to us, but of course they're all different, so you have to know who are you dealing with. Sometimes I have a client who is very shy, and I know, I know that I would, because I do my homework before the photo shoot, and I know they want to bring something out from them, and they want to show it in the photos. So for me to get this person out, to not be shy, to show through emotions, it's like probably it will take around 2 hours, maybe less. So it will start, I will add music on my photo shoot, and I will talk a lot and ask questions, and maybe ask them to move a little, maybe to dance. Because if the person is shy, you have to build this connection between you and the client, so then they can trust you. And when they trust you, they let go of the guard, and then you can see this real person. I think I went a little bit off the psychology. It's like, again, different turn. Yeah. So this little details is just um, they are all important. It's like it's a puzzle. You put it together from years of experience. I don't know how to explain it in like one sentence, but it's just my inner feeling, I guess. I just feel people sometimes when I used to work with my other uh, at the restaurant, and I spend a long time with my colleagues. I can feel if they come in, they are smiling, but I can feel that they are sad or angry or unhappy. It's just on a different level. And the same, I guess, I carry to my clients. If they come in, I see if they're nervous or they like something bothering them, or maybe, I put them, I say they brought a dress and the dress is too small, like they put on weight and they are very uncomfortable. So I say, hey, let's switch the outfit because I see, the person is like this standing or not moving and not happy, because usually I also show the images right away. Like I take a shot and they see what the result is, and they're like, oh my God, that's me. Or sometimes they say, oh no, I don't like this side, maybe different side. So it helps. So if they don't like their outfit, I say, hey, you have another one, let's put another one and try something else. So then they put a different dress and it's a totally different person. You put your favorite dress, it's like you are on the runway. Yeah. And so those little like psychology tricks help me bring the best from the clients and from the photo shoot, but also I'm moving to the next part, that it is a work of two, it's a collaboration. So my responsibility is to guide my clients through the experience, through posing, directing, choosing the best lighting for them. And their part is also to relax and trust me with the process, that in the end is going to be the nice result. And maybe they also should tell me the story and what they want to achieve.
And that is so important. As someone who got married earlier this year, and we had, of course, the wedding photography, and I wanted drama, like epic photos, and they delivered. Complete with the 20-foot veil flying in the wind, with the New York skyscrapers behind it. Perfect. They nailed it because they knew what I wanted, right? We had those conversations. It wasn't just click, click, click. Here's some photos.
Yeah.
Too big of a day, too important to not be planned. As we're heading towards the end of our show, Olga, I'd like you to give one tip regarding photography and headshots, how we can look better online for our brand. And I'd like you to offer one tip about business ownership, which you'd like to share with other entrepreneurs out there.
So for the better looking photos online, it depends on your brand and the story. Depends who you are. Let's say if you want to look more professional, or for like a lawyer. For lawyers, I would probably recommend a clean background, nice lighting, and be dressed not casual, but like business looking like, and you can be with a smile, but not like showing more empowering, like you are trustworthy since you're a lawyer. If you are, let's say, a doctor, maybe a little more warm and you can wear what you wear to work. If you are looking for a job, also white background or gray background will look great, and you should be more presentable, so the employer can trust you. You need to look sharp. And for artists, of course, it is more something extravagant, more drama. Yeah, some like bold colors. It can be any different colors. And yeah, and of course, the lighting is the key. So your portrait should represent your brand and your story. So I need to look at the image and say, oh, this person probably does, I don't know, um, some
Law.
business, maybe in, yeah.
Law. They're a lawyer. They look like
Yes,
a
a lawyer, or maybe they are CEO of this company. So whatever you want to have to people to understand, that's how your portrait should look. And it's supposed to be, the photographer should help you decide on the outfits, on the background, on the lighting. So you discuss all that with the photographer, and he will help you achieve that goal. For business entrepreneurs, business advice, I probably will say you have to be a lot out there. It's just not about it's 20% of your skills that you know, and 80% of network, marketing, sales, and constant learning. You have to evolve all the time. You cannot be like, oh, I know how to press a button. They can find me on my Instagram, whatever. No, you have to all the time go out there to the world and just, present yourself, talk about what you do, meet new people, help them, and you have to solve problems for people. You need to not create the problems, but solve the problems for other businesses, for other people. So then they will come back to you because you help them deal with their issue.
Bingo, bingo to all of that. Now, where can people find you?
Okay, they can find me on my Instagram. That's where my portfolio lives. It is Fresh Cup of Photos. It is totally, completely not my name, because my name is Olga Mischenko. Also, they can message me, text me. My number is 347-737-1998. Yeah, my website is under construction, so hopefully it should be done soon. It's Olga Mischenko at pixieset.com, but I probably gonna do rebranding, and I'm gonna change my last name a little bit, shorten it. It's probably gonna be Olga Mishko. So hopefully it's coming out soon.
Excellent, excellent. We'll be watching for that. And hopefully by the time we air this episode, you're all set up and we'll have all the links in the notes. Okay, last question. This is our signature question. It is what I have asked hundreds of guests before. If we got to peek into your closet and there was maybe some footwear, a pair of shoes, boots, sandals, something that says, this is Olga Mischenko. Like, why is that pair of footwear who you are? It personifies who you are and represents the inner person. And when you put them on, you just feel, like you said, like untouchable, invincible. What are we looking at? Describe it for us.
Okay, so I have this cute little heels. They are beige color, and they have a huge bow tie in front. They like a kind of pointy nose. But when I put them on, they are so cute, like I'm from a fairy tale. So that's usually how I feel. I love heels. And those are, my like magical heels, I would call them, because they go well with everything. They're not very tall, but they're very comfortable and they're very adorable. And yeah, so those probably the shoes I would wear.
See,
And
there's always something, right? Like I love this part of the of my podcast. All right. So with that, folks, that is a wrap. We've got the lovely Olga here from Photography by Olga Mischenko. Be looking for her. You can find her online. Thank you for being on the show.
thank you so much for inviting me, and it was really great. Thank you so much.